Okay.
All right, Sarah. Give us an update on how, you're doing up to this point since you last kind of wrote your letter.
Health-wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
Health-wise.
I actually have some good news. Thank goodness. So I went to the doctor. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, and okay, let me start over. I went to the doctor about 4 weeks ago, and at that time I had just received my second blood transfusion, and the first one had gone fine, and the second one I got really sick, and I developed a fever, it was pretty high fever, for about 3 days, and I finally went into the doctor, it was like a Friday, and I was just really, my fever was starting to break, thank goodness, because I was taking antibiotics, and I was really just sweaty and just not feeling good at all. I was just feeling horrible, and my stomach, was a little more distended because it's actually gone down, but I had a lot of fluid, which is, the ascites, and I think that was the worst my doctor had ever seen me, so he was scared. And I went in there, and I remember that he brought the PA in, and they both examined me, and the nurse came in, and they gave me some fluids and stuff through my port, and basically said, that's when, and I think that at that time is when I wrote the letter, I think shortly after, but that's when they said, I asked him, I said, what do you think, because we didn't know if the chemo was working at that time, because it's a new chemo that we were trying, and not knowing the chemo was working or not, his advice to me, I said, what would you say, what would you tell your daughter or your wife? And he's like, honestly, Sarah, if it was, and he had this concerned look on his face, and he said, honestly, if it was my wife or daughter, I would tell them to just enjoy what time they had left, basically. And, he wasn't sentencing me to anything or saying I was, he didn't give me a time frame or anything like that. I mean, but he basically said, I would just maybe forego everything, stop the chemo and everything else, and just enjoy what time you have left. And so, that was hard. That was really hard to take in. And but I thought, it was like something like, do I accept that or do I keep pushing forward? And I think if you were to accept that, I think it would make your situation even worse. So I just continued on, doing whatever, and my mom and everybody was helping me, and I actually got better. I improved, and I feel tons better today. And so I went back for my, I think it was my third chemo treatment, and my doctor came out and said, I'm optimistic, which he never has said that, hardly, I don't think so. And he said, he's like, the tumor markers aren't, a for sure thing, but they're a good indicator. And they were going down, which means the chemo was working. So I just was like, I about fell off the chair, because I was thinking, there's no chance, I mean, I kind of got discouraged, I'll admit. But in the back of my mind, though, I kept saying, I need to stay faithful, I need to stay positive. And my mom and my family kept telling me the same thing, so, and friends, all my friends. Anyway, so with that support, and I got that great news, and I honestly I don't know where it came from, but I wasn't expecting it, and I know that there was some divine intervention, for sure, because it wasn't supposed to be like that. And I wasn't supposed to even get better last year, so, but that's where I'm at. So the chemo is working. I can only have a certain amount of treatments of this certain particular type of chemo, because it will soon affect my heart. I think I get maybe 4 more treatments, and then after that we're just going to figure something out, hopefully. We don't know what yet, but we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. So, anyway.